So,
Hi.
hi. So, do you have a memory that fits these requirements?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And how long ago did it happen?
2022.
2022. So that is pretty recent. Um,
Uh,
and um, do you have a, does it seem to be something that's, when this happened, was it surprising to you, or was your reaction to it surprising, or did it have a kind of familiar feeling to it?
when you say surprising, I think that um, it was an appropriate
It was what
response. It was
your
appropriate.
your your response.
Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like I don't, I mean, there might have been some stuff in there that was like those negative cognitions, but um, I don't think that, I don't think, I don't think it was uncommon for somebody to have that. So when you say that, I'm like, I don't want you to assume, like, if I say it's, um, I guess I want to make sure that you understand that it's not um, necessary, like, there might be some ecological,
Mm. Well,
like,
would
like
you be
appropriateness to some of the sad feelings,
would you be
you
willing
know?
to share the rough nature of the event?
Just as
Um,
short of thing it was.
I don't mind sharing. I'm hoping that you don't think it disqualifies it. Um,
Huh?
it was my senior dog passed away.
Uh,
Um, Obviously the death and the loss is sad, but there's specifically one part about it, about making that decision to like end her life that I like, it feels icky to me,
uh-huh.
so it, it's not so much the death, because I definitely am really good at grieving and and acceptance of sadness, but it's more about like the decision of having to euthanize her.
Uh-huh.
Um, so
And if you think about that decision, and how disturbing is it to think about now?
um, I would probably say maybe a seven. I don't. If I really put myself in there, maybe it would go up higher. I'm really good at like no, let me
Okay.
keep
It
that.
was seven
But
or up
no,
from there.
Don't
And
have to show that.
if you think about it now, what sensations do you feel in your body?
I get a lot of like fluttering in my chest. Um, like a sad fluttering, not like a like excited fluttering.
Yeah. And just just to check, if you focus on that fluttering feeling in your chest, just let your mind float back to an early experience. And the first one that comes up, even if it doesn't make sense, I'm talking about early experience.
I don't have I can't think of one. I do feel the growth of this um and feeling. But my mind is kind of like um I I don't
So,
know.
so, so this feeling that you had, when you had to make when you made the euthanasia this experience with your dog, that was kind of novel for you. or it felt
Yeah, I've
familiar.
never had to do that before.
Never had to do that before. I'm not exactly talking about that, but the feeling was novel or not.
Um, I would say there's probably some like rooted like responsibility themes. Um,
Guilt.
but this feels very specific because I have this goes against my like philosophical belief about like it's not right to like it feels like this specific decision goes against like some like philosophical beliefs, right? So I think while I see where you're saying like there's probably some responsibility themes, and yeah, I'm totally
No,
living
no,
with
I'm not
those.
saying that. I'm just asking. I'm just asking if the experience feels more like novel or feels more like, oh yeah, I've felt this way before.
This specifically feels novel.
Okay,
Um,
good. And what would you like to use as your positive engaging focus?
ooh, and that's a hard one because she would be the one I would use.
Mm.
And I don't want to use that because it's really well. I remember when I seen the videos, you said,
Well,
it
you
probably
know,
wasn't great.
the idea is we don't want to have a PEF
Okay,
that's related to the painful memory.
can I use my like my complex?
You could use your complex, but we find that we get better results if it's something more, you know, active, an activity that you like to do. You know, if you like to bake bread or garden or play baseball or, something that is more active and more engaging seems to work better. I'm not saying it
Okay,
wouldn't work, but we get a better result with something more active.
It could be a
Or,
bit.
a child or, your trip to Bora Bora or, something.
no, I got one. I'm going to use I really love chopping vegetables and making soup.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I want to use that. That's a good idea.
Okay. So do
And
you have,
it's a stress reliever for me.
I've just become a vegan. So I've been starting to chop a lot of vegetables myself. So, and I'm also looking for recipes. So if you can tell me about a soup that you like to make, that would be great for me.
Um, I would say my favorite soup to make is chicken and dumpling, which is not vegan.
Well, I'm not all the way there yet. So,
I know, I know.
uh,
I'm trying to eat more whole foods.
yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
trying to buy vegetables and fruits and trying to make what I make myself, like what I want
Yeah.
myself
Uh,
versus the
Flash.
processing.
So oh, perfect. You got it without explanation.
Mhm.
Okay, so tell me about your chicken and vegetable soup. Let's go through it from beginning to end.
Well, the chicken and dumpling. Okay.
Oh, dumpling.
Um, yes, chicken and dumpling. Um, well, typically I have to cook the chicken first.
Uh-huh. You just boil
And
it?
then,
Or how do you make
no, I fry it.
it?
And then I usually chop
So you
the
fry it, then if you're
garlic.
gonna fry it, do you bread it and no.
No, I just chop it up into little cubes and fry it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then I chop, my vegetables and I fry
Uh,
that. So like my onions,
uh-huh.
my garlic.
Flash. Now, when I was a kid and my mom would have me chop onions, I'd hold a piece of bread in my mouth so that I wouldn't start sobbing there. What's your technique for keeping the fumes out?
Um, well, originally I was just using the um the like minced dried onion seasoning type of stuff, so I didn't have to
Uh-huh.
worry about chopping it. But now I've been getting a little bit more into Whole Foods, so I
Yeah.
haven't come up with a technique. And I
Uh-huh.
did chop onions recently,
Uh-huh.
and my eyes are like pouring.
Flash. And
Um,
so you're working on that still.
yes, I heard gum. I heard gum, chewing gum.
Okay.
That's what I heard. So I'm gonna try that next.
All right.
Um,
So you
I
chop
know
on,
after
what else do you put in there?
some carrots,
Uh-huh.
celery.
Uh-huh.
That's basically it. It does call for potatoes, but I feel like I had the dumplings in there. I'm not gonna add the
Right.
potatoes.
Oh, so tell me how you make your dumplings.
Well, we use flour,
Uh-huh.
m- milk, butter, it's a little frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So listen, I'm
Cutting the
going to
butter
find
into the
out about that
flour.
frustration in a minute, but right now I want to take a break, stop tapping, and I want you just to check lightly, just kind of skate over the top of the memory and see if it seems different in any way.
I don't this doesn't feel like this flutter feeling doesn't feel as intense.
Good. Let's go back to the problem of the dumplings and how difficult they
Reminding me of my grandmother's soup.
are. Did she make a soup like that, Phil?
She had a chicken and matzo ball soup.
Gosh. Well, matzo ball's a dumpling, isn't it?
Yeah, and they took like I try to roll them up into little like pea-sized balls, and they grow like so big, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
so they overtake the soup a lot of times,
Uh-huh.
which they're good, but it becomes more of a stew
Oh,
than
I
a
see.
soup at that point.
So,
Um,
Flash, do you flavor the dumplings much with spices, or do you just kind of let it absorb the flavors from the soup?
I let them absorb the flavors from the soup,
Uh-huh.
which that's why I think I like making it so much is because there's I think with all the different spices that they use, like sage and all, there's quite a few.
Uh-huh.
It just like comes
Flash.
together so nicely.
Oh, wait a second. Now, where's this? Oh, you put the sage in the soup? I see. And then
Mhm.
so the soup is quite flavorful, and the
Yeah, yeah.
dumplings are bland, but then they absorb all those spices that you put in there. Flash.
Yeah, like rosemary.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of different so good. I'm thinking
So
about it. I'm like, I might make that soon.
I might make it myself. You know, one of the things that we've got some of those things, we've got some of those things growing in our garden, like particularly we've got a big rosemary bush and it's really nice to put the fresh spices in there.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. My squirrels in my neighborhood are like crazy. And they tear my garden apart. Like,
But they won't
so
eat
I stopped.
rosemary, will they?
No, but they dig um and bury peanut shells. I guess somebody feeds them peanuts in my neighborhood.
They bury peanut shells in your
So, all my
flash.
flowers and my like
Ah, great.
grow lavender and rosemary.
Uh,
They
flash. Okay, I'm just gonna interrupt you now. I want to hear more about this, but I'd like you to check back in again, just lightly, without getting the details to this memory, and see if it seems different in any way.
It does seem a little different. The image, so uh, when you kind of say light, like I'm trying not to do EMDR. Um, but
No,
like I think about the image in my mind, and
uh-huh,
it doesn't, like, of her looking up at me, and it doesn't feel as intense.
uh-huh.
Um,
And how disturbing is it on a scale of 0 to 10 now?
I want to say a 2.
Uh-huh. So it's gone down quite a bit. So I'd like you to think about what makes it as much as a 2. Or yeah, and then let's just go right back to
What makes it as much as a 2?
Mhm. So it's not a 0. So something's still a little
Okay.
bit. Okay.
All right.
And
And I'll
now
go back to,
let's say we were where were we at? We were at some
I was telling you about my squirrels that tear
oh the
up my
squirrel.
garden.
Garden.
and uh, and so they'll dig up your rosemary even?
Yeah, my rosemary, my lavender, any
Wow.
plants I set. Like I used to try to do some beautiful lilies.
Oh gosh.
Um,
Oh,
I've
they probably
had,
like, yeah, those bulbs, huh?
mm,
Gosh. So you're kind of going to use the herbs that come from the store. It keeps in bottles on your shelf, and the squirrels can't get to those.
um, I feel like I'm getting into that. Like I try to be a little bit more like somatic and natural focused to kind of, so
Gosh.
um
So
and
you
I think it's helped.
it's helped by so you're focused on whole foods and using uh more spices in your food. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, using more spices and not salt has really helped.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like
I
different
just switched
things.
to
Potassium.
well, half and half. You can't even tell the difference with half and half. Sometimes potassium salt tastes pretty different, but half and half you don't even know, and it really helps.
Yeah. Well, I've had some major health problems in the
Uh,
past.
uh-huh.
So I noticed that
Flash.
um improving like my sleep and you know, paying attention to what I'm eating and doing like the self-care and the exercise,
Flash. Yeah.
all that stuff has really been helpful.
Yeah, I think of that as the stewardess's rule. That's our flight attendant. I mean, you got to put the mask on yourself. We're spending our days helping people with painful problems. We got to take care of ourselves too.
And you know what and why I said that about responsibility is because I do feel a sense of responsibility to help others, but I have to remind myself that if
Yeah.
you don't take care of your body is a vessel. It
Yeah.
sounds so weird to say that, but like,
No,
what
it's true.
I'm carrying with me is being put off
Yeah.
to our clients. So
Flash. Uh-huh.
in some way it's like holding myself accountable to being a better therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Flash. And to include yourself in the circle of compassion. Flash. Okay, let's take another break and check into the memory and see if it seems different in any way now.
um, no, it's interesting because I still felt a little bit, but then like I kind of moved and I was like, oh, my muscles kind of
You can still
released.
feel a little bit.
Well, no, it felt as soon as I started like kind of stretching, it felt like it released. But then I went to go picture the picture in my head,
Yes.
and I'm like, it was almost harder for me to grasp onto the picture.
That is something that we hear and you'll hear when you're doing flash over and over again. And for some reason, that phrase, it's hard to grasp onto, is the phrase that you hear over and over again. And we see that as just, having the memory go into the past instead of reliving it. And it just doesn't have the same suck to it, the same pull to it. So
Yeah, like it's almost like I have to work
To find it.
at it. Yeah, like for a minute there, it was like, wait, what was I thinking about? And then it was a little harder for me to kind of grasp it. And even when it pops into my head, I'm like, oh yeah, it like seems like it pops back out, like it doesn't stay there.
So when you do think about it, though, is it disturbing now? In other words, it will always have been kind of a painful dilemma.
Mhm.
And, it's sad to leave a beloved canine friend. That's, dogs can be the best
Mhm.
friends we can ever have on this earth. And
Yeah.
and so that's always sad. But I'm talking about is it the sort of traumatic aspect of it? Does it still feel like what are the feelings that
No,
you yeah.
no, I would say it's of course there's some sadness because I miss her, but not like I feel responsible for her death because I had to choose,
Yes.
right? Like to make that decision.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that's where the part that I was struggling with, and
Yes. Because you
that
made the
feels
decision actually that her quality of life was impaired and
mm,
you didn't want her to suffer. And
mm,
um, it's a
yeah,
it's a
it
reasonable
was
decision. And
but yeah, I mean, we can do the whole logical stuff,
yeah,
right?
the
But
lot
like
yeah,
emotionally, it was like still pulling me. But I
but
don't, you
emotionally
know,
it feels so you feel like okay now or not. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. Like kind of like it, it was, it would like it, without trying to sound like corny. I would say like like it was her time. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
just, it was the, it was going to happen. Um,
It's
I
part
just
of life.
made it easier.
Yeah.
So
So.
what would you say is the thing that you learned from going from a 7 here to a 0 about this tough decision that you made?
About yourself.
What I learned about myself.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm okay.
yeah, I was going to say almost what the phrase that came into my mind is I'm doing the best I can with what I got, kind of.
Yeah.
So maybe I guess that's I'm okay as I am. Um,
Sounds good.
Yeah. So if you let's just let's see. I wonder if we can just stick to tapping for the installation, just to be consistent. So with that, with the memory, whatever's left of it, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm okay. Those words, and just tap. As you think of it. what comes up for you now when you notice?
I think at first I felt like an emotion come up,
Uh-huh.
right? But then I was like really trying to think about I did the best I can, like I did the best I could, you know, and that it, it kind of started to settle back down at the end. And that might be some like earlier stuff. um, but if I really so but other than that, like when I started really thinking about like specifically with that memory, it calmed down. It was like when I was just thinking I'm doing the best I can, or I did the best I could, started to get a little emotional, and then I started thinking about the decision, and that's when it felt like it calmed down. So it feels pretty like I feel at peace, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So just notice the difference, that feeling of peace from how you were feeling before. Okay. And what comes up for you now?
I don't know. I just felt the urge to smile.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I I was just thinking like that peaceful feeling, and I just felt
Mhm.
like
Cool.
I don't know if there was anything that necessarily
Yeah, that's great. So now just check
triggered it.
your body, in relation to this memory and see if there's any disturbance.
No,
Well, thank you very much. That's a lovely demonstration. And I really appreciate your willingness to get
all
out in
right.
front of everybody and share this intimate memory. And thank you.